Oh, the Heat. Yeah. So recently, Hornets took out the Heat in a wonderful playing game. Um, it was a fantastic game. Came down to the wire. A lot of chirpiness, a lot of crazy shots, some injuries, some injuries that were caused by players, maybe intentionally trying to stop a player. But it was a game of so much intensity, so much high stakes, and ended up with the Hornets beating the Hornets were beating the Heat. Lonzo had a great game. Well, not a crazy great game from three. He was like 2 from 16 from three, not really shooting well, but was doing other things to contribute to winning, and which led to Kobe White hitting crazy shots, hitting the crazy game tying shot. Um, you had some decent players about Bridges, and on the other end, Tyler Hero, Davian Mitchell, um, was playing really well. You also had Jaime Jaquez. Um, you had Kyle Ware, who played really well defensively. It was a good game all around, but the Hornets were able to close out the game. And one of the big talking points after the game was the Bam Adebayo injury. Um, we can go check it out right now. Let me. Sources. So let's see what happened on this play.
Blocked by Fontecchio. Heads up the ball, trying to get around Fontecchio, splits defenders and gets it. Blocked by Fontecchio. Heads up play. Ball by himself for the throwdown. And Bam Adebayo is down. Very concerning right now for the Miami Heat. Wow. Their athletic trainer, Wes Brown, has made his way over. And that was Ball who took his leg out from under him.
You can see on that play, Ball get his team fouled, go to the ground, fall to the ground, either as frustrating or inadvertently grab Bam Adebayo, trips up Bam, Bam hits his tailbone, Bam's out of the game in a very close game where I think everything matters. Now, some Heat fans not too upset because I think a lot of them wanted to go in the lottery and position themselves for get a pick, top pick, if that's trading for a player. But even then, they still have issues with, of course, the players trying to take over their star player of the franchise. Um, Lamelo inadvertently try to grab him. This is some reactions around what happened.
time he's done it to Bam, right? The internet tells me that. They ran a highlight from
Yeah.
2024. Is this like his move? Was he trying to slow him down? Is there something between LaMelo and Bam? Like what? Because that's a tailbone problem right there, right? I mean, that is a big man who falls a long way right on his bone. And then allegedly, no, here it is from 2024. It happened again where he tried to trip him up. Is that like a move? A lot of guys try to slow people down when they can't get back, or like, why do you think this is happening the way?
Yeah, I think that is exactly what happened the first time. I think the first time you saw more, I didn't get the call, I fell, and then I'm really trying to stop the play because I can't get back now. I tried to sell the call and beg for a call, didn't get one. Now I kind of want the whistle to blow so we can argue a little bit. You see that a lot with guys, right? This second time, I really think he initially wanted to get his hand out of the way and saw, hey, maybe I could make him step out of bounds or move. Like, I know he wasn't thinking, let me trip him to hurt him or harm him, because nobody wants to sit out and take that fine. I don't think LaMelo would have a problem with Bam. It's not even a good.
So basically that play right there led to like a bunch of reaction to LaMelo. You had some people like Nick Wright, um, and some other analysts try to call out LaMelo, call him a clown, which led to LeVar response. Let's look at LeVar response.
And talking about somebody a clown? Has Nick Wright ever looked in the mirror? I bet you if you look in the dictionary right now and you look up a clown, you're going to see two things. One, it's going to be somebody with some long hair on the sides and a big-ass nose. Yep, that's Nick Wright, a clown in itself. He's been a clown ever since I know him, and I know his tag team buddy, too. Yes, Gritlock. He looks like a clown, too. Puffy cheeks and a big round nose and a big belly to match. Yes, I'm calling them all out. They're all clowns. So don't ever curl your lips and say a ball boy's a clown, because you know you're a clown. That's why y'all keep looking at each other like two Rudy Poots. That's how this thing goes down. I'm trying to figure out how somebody can lay on their back and with their left hand flip over a man 260 pounds. Try that. That ain't gonna work. And supposed to.
Man, LeVar Ball is funny. Yeah, I don't care what you might gotta say, but so LeVar Ball responds to them, calling them clowns, calling the people who talk about LaMelo as a clown, and which led to today Nick Wright on the show coming out in a clown outfit. What the hell? So it's led to a lot of crazy comments around Lamelo. Man, to me, um, it was the kind of dirty play what Lamelo did to Bam. It was a dirty play, but I don't think Lamelo is a dirty player, but it was a dirty play. I feel like a reason why a lot of people who probably seen Lamelo growing up as a kid, they probably using this excuse to say he's still immature, which is just some truth to him being immature. But I think he's grown up in front of our eyes. So but to call him clown, like so many people are calling him, I wouldn't say he's a clown. I say immature, but he's just got some growing up to do. But that shouldn't be like the main talking point. It's just how great of a game that he had, like him struggling from the three, and that whole how this Hornets team. I think turning like a good basketball game into the topic of calling somebody a clown. I think is the reason why a lot of people have issues with how people cover NBA. Instead of talking about how great these games are, like we sit around and try to tear apart these players, instead of praising how great that game was. It was a really great game. a lot of people was it was a little bit of people down on the playing game, which I don't know why, because every year it's always the most exciting game. But people were down on it going to the playing, and then the Haitian Hornets really was cooking. Um, and then we can get to other games on the Suns. Lose in a crazy fashion. They had Denny Adria scored 40 points. Devin Booker struggled. Um, Dylan Brooks had a decent game. Jalen Green played really well, pretty well. Um, that kind of leading to some interesting topics in Phoenix. A lot of people were saying, um, I don't know why. A lot of people saying I don't know why they still trying in Phoenix trying to build around Devin Booker being number one. I think he's almost 30 now. Um, it have not worked. Him being the number one, him being number two with KD didn't work either. But him being number one is not a good thing for the Phoenix franchise. So it's a lot of interesting topics. They lost to the Trail Blazers, and the Warriors are rolling with Curry. Draymond Green had a vintage performance, locking up Kawhi Leonard in the clutch moment. While Curry had a vintage um, night, just Curry's just Curry. Porzingis come in, and whenever he tells people, Porzingis how good he is. Um, the Clippers played well. They had a couple leads, but they couldn't maintain the leads. And Kawhi, you know, this may be the last time we see him in the Clippers uniform, which led to a lot of interesting topics around reaction to how we're gonna talk about his Clipper legacy, which is a complicated legacy because we really didn't get to see them at their real potential. Like we only had one season where they was all healthy, and that was stopped by catastrophic world virus that kind of stopped the world, and they stopped basketball for like a couple months. They had to resume and come back and play in the bubble. Well, you can see in the Clippers with Lou Will, Paul George. It was some issues. I think it might have been with Harold. It was just a lot of stuff going on with the Clippers, and you can kind of see that team wasn't really locked in the bubble, which was like a lot of other teams wasn't really locked in because there was a lot of stuff going on in the world at the time. But at the end of the day, you stood up play basketball, and they had a crazy collapse against the Nuggets 3-1. I seen the Bulls 3-1 lead. After that, we never really got to see them healthy again. You had sometimes where Kawhi would play a couple games and a couple playoff games, like against the Phoenix one year, and he was out for the series. Um, we had one year where Kawhi was out for the whole year. It was just, and Paul George got hurt. It was a whole up and down with the team. A lot of people, a lot of Lakers fans, having their stuff to get off about the Clippers. But my personal feelings about the Clippers era is it was you tried everything you could, but it just sometimes stuff just don't work out. And you had Doc Rivers, you didn't like him, you got rid of him. You brought in Ty Lue, who was a good coach, and it didn't work out. Some stuff just don't work out, and it just happened. Um, this will just be like the Clippers curse, man. Like, hopefully things can turn around. Who knows what they're gonna do going forward? But pretty sure they probably gonna move off Kawhi sooner than later. But let's see some to reaction to when Kawhi got a little locked up against the. Let's see some reaction from Girls Arena about the Kawhi getting locked down.
defensively for the Warriors, locking up Kawhi in crunch time. How impressive was that in the Warriors win?
Oh, no, he took on the challenge, right? He's had a lot of battles against him. He's played a lot of basketball against him, so he knows his tendencies.
And this is crazy because if you know what happened at the beginning of the year, man, Kenyon and Draymond kind of got into it. So let's see what Kenyon's reaction to it is.
For one, anticipation, knowing what his go-to moves are and beating him to the spot, like on the crossover, late. I'm saying knowing what he was about to do and beating him to the. So yeah, it's doing your homework, but playing against him before helps. And just taking the challenge, man. We all know Draymond is going to compete, right? We know he's going to go out and compete at the highest level, especially on that side of the ball, right? That's where he lays his hat on. And yeah, he did in the fourth quarter. And throughout the game and the fourth quarter, they were doing a good job at putting 2 on Kawhi as well. But Draymond taking the challenge individually, not to let their best player beat them, right? In the fourth quarter game on the line. So yeah, no, that's what defensive guys do. Accept the challenge. Sometimes it goes in your favor because guys are really, really good in this league offensively.
It's like the same player build. Draymond Green has all the attributes to contain Kawhi, right? Lateral quickness, can jump, long arms also, right? So what Kawhi usually does with everyone else, you get that one dribble hit, then, because his arm's long, fingers long, he can still normally shoot that over most any, guard or wing that's guarding him, but Draymond at the 4 with long arms too, quicker than him, right? He's gonna beat him to the spot and make him shoot more fadeaways than he wants to. So when I looked at some of the, stats from the past, it looks suggested like this, right? Where, you're gonna force Kawhi to pass the ball, you're not gonna take a lot of shots. The shots you're gonna take, you're gonna be contested because I can contest them. Like I'm quicker, faster, stronger than you. Right? And some of those builds do neutralize you, right? There's always a guy that just has your number. And it seems like when it comes to like Kawhi, him getting poked, right? We've never seen Kawhi just get ripped like that, but Draymond got the same, right? He got that same arm length. So you try to do that little small crossover, I can get that.
Hand right there.
Yeah, let me take that with you. Huh?
Yeah,
I used to cook them though.
Huh?
He used to cook the Warriors.
Yeah, but it's well, I don't know.
but you got to look at what Draymond is guarding, right?
Yeah, when Draymond's guarding.
Spurs was about to put them out the playoffs until he got hurt, man.
Back then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So here's some reaction. So that's a little bit of the reaction. I want to see maybe if Low, because I was watching Low stream. Yeah, his
It's a
low
lot to
reaction.
say. Potentially the last game that we have seen of Kawhi Leonard and it
His jersey, which is then going to effectively conclude one of, if not the worst attempts ever at trying to win a championship. It ends with Kawhi Leonard, the nigga that for whatever reason you all keep giving these breaks to. I do not understand why y'all do this shit with Kawhi. The nigga is living off of 2 postseason runs, and y'all will put him in combos with niggas who piece together for decades. And then when it doesn't show up in must-win situations, just like he didn't do in Game 7 back in 2020, and here this go again here in 2026. And the reason why I gotta jump that far ahead from 2020 to 26 because it is always injured, bro. So now, in a must-win situation, the brother PU stinking it up. Before I say that, though, I want to say this. There has been a lot of nonsense and shenanigans talked about Curry over the last really week and a half now, from who just flat out are lying about how this Kawhi was better than Curry in 2016 to then claiming Curry, well, I guess that we're going to give Nick Wright the benefit of the doubt that he forgot it, fair. But even where I think he had him placed was certainly questionable. And I told people several times, that conversation between Curry and Magic is far closer than what many of you all would like to believe. It's going to get real uncomfortable. In a must-win situation, Stephen Curry comes out and a brother balls out of his mind. He drops 35 points, 4 assists with the steal, shot 52% points, just completely fails every single year to put competent pieces around this. He went out there in the fourth quarter just nuclear, stupid. And the thing that I always applaud when it comes to Draymond is that normally someone of his age would have normally fallen off. Draymond Green in front of him, and he couldn't do shit. Year 14, age 36, and he sat out there, took the responsibility of guarding Kawhi, and literally locked him the fuck.
I'm not even trolling. When you go back and watch the points that Kawhi scored, majority were not on Draymond Green.
For those who don't know, Kawhi in the first half, he had 14 points. Second half, he had 7. And in the second half, the nigga only attempted 5 shots. That's all he did in that second half. He wasn't even looking at the fucking rim, my nigga. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I am fine with being high on Kawhi. But sometimes y'all take that shit way too far. And then when the nigga has moments like this, it is mum's the word. There's never a shot in hell that someone could do the shit that Kawhi has done within his time with the Clippers, and you all claim that this man is in conversations with being better than Kevin fucking Durant. Please fucking stop, bro. Not only has that man not even been available, but when he is available in moments like these, the nigga does not show up when you need him. In Game 7...
I don't know about that, man. Because he's harping on that Game 7. But Kawhi literally had the greatest shot we ever seen in a fucking postseason game. So let me see this one.
As they were blowing a 3-1 lead back in 2020, the nigga was trash. He was bad, bro. And now here we are, fast forward to where we are today. And in the second...
I guess that's this low hatred, Laker hatred for Kawhi. But my personal feeling is, man, listen, Kawhi is a good player. He had moments where he was, some people was trying to compare that he was more close than Kobe, was kind of crazy. But just because people go insane with the Glaze, I'm not gonna be insane the other way. Yes, he did fail in 2020, but I'm not gonna say he don't show up in the big moment. He had the biggest shot of all time. I would say in the postseason game, like I was up there with that Jordan jump shot against the Cavs. That was a crazy shot he made against the Toronto Raptors. I mean, against the 76ers to send him home. I'm not going to say he don't show up in the big moments. He show up a lot of times in big moments. I've seen him a lot perform well. This is one of the moments where where he just didn't get his shit off. But I'm not going to say he don't show up. He shows up. A big moment. The problem is with Kawhi is we never get to see much of him, so we can't really judge him fairly because he's just been injured all the time. So the whole thing talking about this has been like the worst attempt. No, it was a good attempt. If we go, I know now in hindsight, 2020. Yes, it did not work out. The Clippers did not work out, but 6 years ago, people was not thinking the same way. Kawhi was literally coming off of like a real good playoff run with the Raptors. Some people might think still think to this day he should have stayed with the Raptors. But him going to the Clippers, him getting Paul George to come, them having a decent team at the time around him, them beating Lakers, I think it was on like Christmas Day or something like that when they played them. They had a lot of momentum. Who knows if like nobody knew like the world was gonna shut down. No one knew. Even though we know Kawhi got hurt before, we didn't know it was just his knee was as bad as it was. So it's easy to say from today's standpoint to say the Clippers failed, but like at the time, bro, like they had a decent, they did everything. They had decent players on the team at the time, decent roster. Even they was overachieving, doing things they wasn't supposed to because they just didn't really have players like of caliber that you would think they should be in the playoff. Like they was in the playoff. I think that 2018-2019 season, but like no real star players. I think Tobias Harris was on the team at that moment back then. But I'm not gonna act like what they did was stupid. They did all the everything you can get. They brought in the right players, defensive players. They thought they could build around Kawhi. They try to manage Kawhi injuries the best way they could. Now they had some nasty stuff, especially like with the paying Kawhi on their table. But I'm pretty sure that they're not the only team who does that. Maybe might be wrong, but other than that, they try to do all they can to win the championship. It just didn't work out. Kawhi couldn't stay healthy. Um, Sometimes just things just don't work out. Sometimes things just crash and burn. Clippers tried. It wasn't like a lot of other organizations where they never really get to capitalize off the success or it quickly flamed out. Like I mean, they tried. They started off this year really bad, and they was able to win games, string along some wins, to get in a play-in position. Even then, after trading James Harden, a lot of people would thought they're gonna go full tank. They still maintained above water, and they were still winning a couple games. But yeah, I'm not gonna go. I can't really go hard on Kawhi for not getting him a championship. Nigga, he just was hurt. Like I'm like I just think um trying to go. I just think some people can be too harsh. Yep, I think some people, but some of these people are just Lakers fans, so they're really emotional about it. But Kawhi, w- it's just sad we couldn't see him fully healthy, and it's just crazy how how for granted we take that people can stay healthy and play games for us. So I can't really shit on Kawhi for what happened with the Clippers thing. He tried his best. I don't think Kawhi was just going there to make some money and not win. I think Kawhi is the guy who's want to win and want to compete. And I think injuries just got in the way of that. And injuries or global pandemic, whatever, got in the way on that. They couldn't really um, pick up on the momentum. He coming off that 19 Raptors win, championship win. Um, if you want to come for the bubble, I understand it. For me, it uh, it would be kind of hard to just stop for I don't know for many months they stop for, then having to pick it back up and play basketball again. So I can't understand why people killing for that 3-1 lead in 2020, but also can understand why it happened because they wasn't really serious about it. So like I don't think anybody really had it was just a bunch of red flags going around that Clippers team going to that bubble. Just a lot of stuff going on, but other than that, man, Clippers fan, I feel for you guys, bro. Your team tried, but I'm not finna fucking say you're a failure. Yes, you did give a fucking ton of picks, but damn, bro. At the time, you no one really thought about it. Like it's just like Kawhi and Paul George was somewhat like people comparing them to Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. Um, it was a real good defensive team. Just didn't work out, man. Um, but it's a lot of franchises who just don't win championship. A lot of good teams who have good teams, but they just don't win championship. Um, Now, unlike those other teams where maybe it was like a team that was just better than them, it was the only thing that really stopped the Clippers from winning championship was just injuries, man. Injuries and themselves in 2020. And outside of 2020, it was just injuries. So, like outside of 1 year, it's just injuries. Just go down the list. It's just injuries. Nobody can say healthy. Nobody's. It's just hard. I know last year, I think Kawhi was somewhat healthy, but Kawhi just had his best year and one of his most, I guess, healthiest year. But it's like, man, like, what can you do, man? Stuff happens, but I'm not gonna kill the Clippers. You did your best. Other than that nasty thing you did with Kawhi, paying him under the table. Um, you tried. You gotta move on, man. Move on from the Kawhi era. For me, I just think you need to just rip the Band-Aid off. Trade him this summer. Get what you can out from him. And just build on with Garland and Mastering, and have those people part of your next upcoming course. But yeah. It sucks because now the whatever pick you get, Suns don't get. So you hope just get a low first round pick. I mean, like maybe like a 17, 18 maybe. But it's pretty looking like a pretty decent draft this year. So even that might still be a decent player. So you didn't. The only thing is hindsight 2020. Yes, you got swept. The Thunder's really killed you on that trade, but at the time, 2020 pandemic, man, nobody really was thinking the Clippers. Like we was thinking at least the Clippers get one or two championship. Nobody just if Kawhi was healthy, but nobody didn't know Kawhi would just have more constant injuries. I'm a constant problem with those knees, but other than that, what else I can talk about? Magic 76ers disappointed me. Paulo Banchero. There's reports that they're going to fire the Orlando coach no matter what happened in the playoff series. I think something like that coming out before the playing game, just to let you know where's the morale on the team, and they have to go play Charlotte Friday today actually. I don't think they're gonna win. I think that team is a team that don't want to play for their coach. Either just it might be just Banchero or it might be the whole locker room, but that locker room is divided. The Hornets locker room is together. Now maybe kind of Magic just come together and use all the issues in the locker room and play out of spite, but I don't think that's happened. So that's the only thing else I gotta talk about. But other than that, man, I'll catch you guys later. I should have made this video earlier. Would have expected not like late this night like this, but yeah, man. You know, playoff coming. I'm gonna be watching playoff game, maybe stream some games, but catch you guys later, man. Have a good night.